Hello everyone. I hope you guys are doing great. So today we'll be having Felipe Montoya Rodriguez, who is having expertise in fintech and also who was a lawyer previously and currently working as a blockchain consultant at Hoyos and Associates PCI. So obviously I'll be asking him some questions related to his work and also the current market situation of blockchain industry, the crypto and all, and his predictions and whatnot. So without a further ado, let's welcome Felipe. Thank you so much for joining in, Felipe. I hope you are doing great.
See it. Such a pleasure to be invited in your podcast. And yeah, we're here to talk about blockchain. We're here to talk about Web3 industry, and we're here to have fun.
Yeah. So like first of all, if you can just briefly describe about yourself, like introducing yourself and what are you currently based at and what are you currently working on, then I think it will be great.
Yeah, so basically what I do is I bring up consultancy services for companies willing to either like tap it into the blockchain adoption, blockchain transformation of their legacy technologies within their corporations, or companies that are willing to encourse into the fintech environment on and off ramps, but also like to be in touch directly with straightforward with the exchanges, the liquidity providers, the market makers of the whole industry. So basically, that's what I do. That's what I'm doing. My theater of operations is in between the States and Latin America. I'm from Colombia, so that's a little bit about me and the target markets that I'm doing. Currently based in New York metropolitan area. I got graduated from NYU, the Tandon School of Engineering and Management of Technology, with a special emphasis in of course, blockchain and cryptocurrency related businesses. And this is a little bit about me. I used to be, or I am, a lawyer, but I like to say, I like to proclaim myself as a recovered lawyer, because law is not only this static knowledge. Law needs to be adapted to the different business course, to the different business models, and that's the power behind the provisions or behind the compliance with the regulations. So that's a little bit about myself. Always meddling into cross chain teams, always serving as a bridge between the business, the legal team, and obviously the product team. And I'm glad to understand and to be able to portray this here. It's been more than 7 years since I've done it.
Okay, that's really great to know. So like if you can also throw some light like on your like work at like Hoyos and Associates PCI, like as a blockchain consultant that you are currently doing.
So yeah, basically what I started to do, I started this business like this in the industry, like with freelance gigs, and what became like pilots and then projects. We forked like certain crypto, we forked Dogecoin, we listed in a lot of underground exchanges. Then we evolved it and we started participating in several hackathons in Binance back in 2019, 2020, Ethereum hackathons, Chainlink hackathon as well. So I started to understand not only the business model and the legal side of it, but also what encompasses to be like properly developing like smart contracts and properly developing like blockchain from an infrastructure perspective. How to link several nodes, how to create like staking nodes, how to set it up in cloud services and blockchain services into a project, and obviously, well, the integration between front end and the back end. As a manager, as project manager, I was doing the planning, I was doing the Scrum. I'm a Scrum Master certified as well, and then slowly I started to wrap it up, piecing together everything from the business. So I was able to bring up that holistic vision that merges every side of the project, and then became how to become bankable, how to become a project viable in terms of business, in terms of fundraising, either in grants or or you're on bootstrapped, or if you're looking for VCs like venture capitals that are willing to invest solely in crypto businesses. We're also welcoming that. We're also welcoming this part of the business. So it's important to understand that we need to pioneer in these markets and be brave enough to understand and to become like devoted fully into these different and several business models that are very novel. Their
Yeah,
novelty, it's basically, it's been 7 years, 10 years at maximum that people are starting to pose their eyes, or take or keep their eyes peeled to these different industries or different uptrendings. So every year changes. So I started like very crypto centric. I started like a full like cypherpunk, the manifesto, and we are against the financial institutions, and everything is going to be decentralized. And slowly I molded and I adapted to the reality that it's, hey, we need to understand that we got this technology, but if we do not bridge some gaps in between them and the legacy industries, we are working in vain. Basically, we are working new. So I decided to become that bridge. I decided to become that part that intertwines in between the development teams, the crypto part, blockchain side, with the financial institutions, and also in supply chain. It could be the suppliers. It could be the whole endpoints, or the whole different points in the whole provenance custody chain. So it's been really challenging, but it's delightful. I mean, it's a passion. I'm very passionate about it. I like to see how it's quickly evolving. Everything, and every year is more sophisticated, and that's the whole knowledge that I brought it up in my different projects has helped me out to become this consultant that I'm right now. So I've worked in all these different upstreams and downstreams in the industry. So that's what I'm able to say. Okay, you're working as a liquidity provider. Oh, you're working as a market maker. Oh, you're working as a DeFi protocol. Oh, you're trying to launch an NFT project. Okay, I can help you out, definitely, starting out certain hurdles that sometimes in the beginning people has with this technology. I can help you out to enlighten how to use properly these technologies, and how to be more assertive in the way you're addressing the market. Because sometimes, me as a crypto geek, I understand the people that are, loving the technology, but you don't have to fall in love with the technology. You have to fall in love with the business model and the
yeah,
technology and the legal side, and obviously the management side will help you out create this MVP, create these alpha stages, create pre-alpha, alpha, and it's gonna corroborate with the market. It's gonna you once you launch it, you're gonna prove whether or not it was working, whether or not it was useful, whether or not that idea was worth of your hours, that invested in that time, and the users were wanted. Okay, so the users right now want the ETFs platforms. Okay, so let's build a bridge in between ETFs and DeFi. That's worthwhile. How can we do that? What are the different legal challenges? What are the different development challenges? What are the different business model side challenges? So that's a little bit about myself. I'm glad to be like these I don't know, man, but it's a mixture. It's a crazy mixture in between being a lawyer, being a project manager slash business development, but in several Web3 projects.
Yeah, definitely. Like it really seems to be like a jack of all trades kind of thing. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a myriad. It's a
yeah,
myriad of several perspectives, but at the end, that's what really, the entrepreneurs, the people who are entrepreneurs on its own endeavors really understands that, because once you're creating your startup or you're bootstrapping, you need to understand 360 degrees of the whole economy, of the whole structure, how it works. You know,
yeah,
if you if you need to incorporate a company, you need to start, be compliant with states regulations. You need to start paying for developers. You need to start creating your market campaign. You need to talk with clients, but you also need to put pressure on the development team for them to deploy the solutions as quickly as possible, for your solution to be as polished as possible. you know so the people who has entrepreneur, and I have several years, we really have that vision that can help you out, like give some good insights, get some good feedback to the people who are already running like business models. That's why I decided to devote myself into this, and I love it, man.
okay. That's really like that sounds really awesome. So, like as you are having expertise in fintech industry, and like we are seeing like the DeFi like revolution these days. So, like how are you basically seeing like the DeFi being adopted as a new version of fintech, and also like if you can just briefly describe about like what's going on in aspect of CBDCs as well currently.
Yeah. So basically, in there, what I have to tell you is, well, it's complicated because it depends. It varies from country to country.
Yeah,
So I've witnessed that sometimes, sometimes, for instance, the few things that I know about India is that they are really, for instance, they're really volatile. Your state is really volatile. Sometimes they're allowing crypto, or from time to time they decided to bar certain transactions, or they decided to put some taxes
yeah,
in the crypto transactions. Same happens with every country. So the friendlier ones in Latin America turns out to be Brazil, El Salvador. El Salvador is pretty friendly in terms of like provisions, stipulations. They got license, they got Bitcoin licenses, and they got technology innovation licenses that allows you to use like altcoins and stable coins in the business model within El Salvador, and they bring you out that type of infrastructure in terms of services, in terms of at least regulations, and they're dollarized. So their fiat currency is actually dollar. So that would be the friendliest one. In Mexico, in Colombia, the approach has been really hesitant in terms of the government. So sometimes the government has decided to slowly stay in the illegality phase, or the situation is not either illegal nor legal sometimes, you know but slowly the banks are letting flows come in and streaming into the market. So all the big exchanges functions properly in our countries. Binance, the biggest one at all, Coinbase, Bitfinex, even the smallest ones such as OKX, Gemini, whatever. I mean, there are all the top 20 exchanges in the world are working properly in our countries, but it varies from country to country.
yeah,
So
definitely.
I would say that probably, let's say, probably in Switzerland, probably in certain cantons in Switzerland, in UAE, obviously in the United Emirates, in Singapore, in Hong Kong. Although they sometimes they're friendly, and then suddenly decided to close the door to crypto. But there would be, those would be the, like, at least the more promising jurisdictions or promising countries, with Gibraltar perhaps, and maybe a little bit of Bahamas or Bermudas. Still ongoing, but I'm bullish in certain areas, especially Dubai. I'm bullish what they're trying to do in terms of DeFi ecosystem. I think it's really robust. I think in the States they are slowly. Sometimes they're back and forward, but they're putting pressure, and that pressure is helping out to at least set forth like clear rules of engagement for at least Bitcoin, for at least stable coins. That you do have like certain provisions. You do have banks, although not the biggest ones, but at least the medium and the small size ones, that are letting people transact in stable coins and fiat. uh, you do have banks in Puerto Rico, for instance, that are doing good things for the ecosystem, that are bridging the gap between Latin America and North America. Um, so I think at the end, in a midterm horizon, probably DeFi will take off. A huge chunk of derivatives, or a huge chunk of lending, or like cross-border payments. I can see a use case over there, and it's already ongoing. Certain actors such as PayPal, Fidelity, big actors, big players, they're decided to put like some chips at least, or divest their portfolio into crypto. So they're starting slowly but steadily to leaning towards that way. So in midterm, I would say it would be bullish. It probably would take another extra like 5 years to start creating like a real mainstream inertia. But
Yeah.
obviously, from a 2016 perspective, we've advanced a lot. So what we do have right now, pardon me, what we do have right now, even in countries such as India, Colombia, like the countries that were very abolitionist at the beginning, we have seen an evolution of different like stakeholders or different agents within the industry, which is pretty daunting and pretty amazing.
Okay, yeah, that sounds awesome. So like as per the market situation which is like there right now, so like what is the possibility like when we will see like a fully bullish market, and like as we are seeing the predictions of Bitcoin going up to 1 million, like so like when are you seeing that to happen?
Yeah, I do not. I huge disclaimer here. I do not hold the crystal ball here, nor I know. I don't know the prophecy, etc. I might not be that person. I don't like to become like a person who is who's well known for its forecasts of, hey, Bitcoin is gonna touch like 1 million benchmark, and I'm gonna tell you the exact date of that it's happening. I think that's not possible, especially because the market is very fluctuant. But it's if it's a long term goal, if you are investing on a daily basis, definitely you're seeing like an appreciation of your portfolio as a whole. So if you
Yeah,
invested daily from 2016 from out of here, you would easily have like a 500% profits in your portfolio if you're going hodl, like we're saying. If you're hodling, I think the perspective are good. If you're doing trading, I think sometimes it's a jackpot, sometimes it's an expertise. I mean, there are people that really know how to use the algorithms, how to use the trade bots, how to understand the supply and demand in the market. But it's really volatile sometimes. Uh, I personally, I did trade. I traded for a while, but I'm not trading anymore. Or more like, I would love. I'm more into the staking and the hodling part of it. I think it's more. I think more the long term. It is possible that the prices start to slipping a little bit, but with the halving, it is statistically proven that after halving, sometimes it's immediately after, sometimes it might take between, let's say, 1 or 3 months period, but in that period it's the price skyrockets, and it tends to do it, and the previous halvings has behaving that way. So I think this year we will see a huge spike in the price.
Okay.
Maybe I don't know if in between at the end of the year or the mid year. Definitely will touch all time high prices, which was 75 grand, 76 grand. I think it'll be something around that,
Yeah.
but it's possible that it plummets a little bit, and the floor price start hiking up, uplifted a little bit. The benchmark, the floor price mark, would be lifted from 40 grand maybe to, let's say 50 grand or 60 grand, and the price it will start to fluctuate in those terms. Like sometimes will be high, way higher, but sometimes it'll touch back the floor again. So the floor price, let's see, the support will, I'm hoping, I'm bullish in terms of the support. The bench will start uplifting in terms of support of the price. But not only that, right now the ecosystem is way more robust than it was 2 years ago, and every year we're like exponentially improving.
So like at
So
least, at
yeah,
least it will go up to 100K, right? By the end of this year.
I think it's really likely to touch
Okay.
those prices, because right now you got Visa, right now you got MasterCard, you got PayPal, you got
Yeah.
several big players. The Swift is doing pilots, you know. HSBC has done some pilots. Um, Bank of America is trying to do something there. The governments are, slowly and steadily, adopting more technology. You do have like crypto friendly countries right now.
Yeah.
Um, so definitely the ecosystem is way, way, way more enhanced than the way it used to be. So for me, I think there's not a there's today it's the best way to hatch for the egg to finally hatches. So it's gonna be a matter of time, but the adoption is way more widespread than it used to be. The sophistication of the stakeholders is at its peak. um so it'll take time, but 200 grand in between this year and next year, I can easily overlook that as as a realistic forecast.
Great. So like last for last, so if you can give any advice or suggestion to the startup founders like who are basically trying to who are trying their best to retain in like the market situations that are there right now, and like how they can beat the bear.
Yeah, so basically you got different sides here. If either you're the crypto geek or crypto centric entrepreneur that you fall in love with the technology. Personally, I used to be that, and I partly still I am in that group. I belong to that group. Um, that group, you need to be very clever in understanding how you're gonna use the liquidity of the ecosystem. Let's say you pick up Polygon network, which is huge in India too. It's the
Yeah.
biggest Indian project in crypto. So you pick up Polygon, then you need to understand the whole ecosystem. Then you need to build your solution. Once it's built, your next goal should be, okay, we need to be multi-chain. But by doing so, you already need to have set it up, the whole marketing side, the whole, at least to be able to establish agreements and partnerships with the people that are meddling around the ecosystem. once you got that, once you build these strong relationships, so if you're a DEX protocol, or or you need to build the relationship with bridge, you need to build the relationship with the audits, you need to stay up to date to how to
Yeah.
protect your smart contracts from exploits, according to the last Uniswap smart contract code, the last GMX. Which, first of all, once you do the benchmarking, try to figure out the best way. The big players or the early adopters, who of them you gotta select, who of them are still surviving in the market, who of them, how many of them have become or have claimed their leadership spot within the ecosystem, and those are the ones you need to follow in terms of business model, in terms of organization, in terms of development. So that would be for that side of the equation. The other side, it's the people who are working in the crypto to fiat world. You're more into the adoption, you're more into the end user, you're trying to reach out the next billion persons to convert in the crypto markets or in the crypto world. So you need to be really, really open to more realistic approaches. So that's the time, that's the chance, the opportunity for you to stop being hyper let's say extremist, or hyper extremist with the types of technology. You don't need to cling to the technology for the sake of technology. You need
Yeah.
to be able to be open and adapt easily according to the market's demands. So
Yeah.
if you're only like, okay, if you're biased and if you're blindsided and say, no, this is the only way, and we need to use like ZK rollups or ZK AVMs solutions, but some at certain point they're gonna, or we need to use the Avalanche Supernet solution. At certain point, the user, they're gonna tell you, man, I don't even know what blockchain is. So why are you talking
Yeah.
about why are you talking about super nodes? Why are you talking about the top-notch trending or the latest update in certain product, when we, as an unbanked population, we as a person who is an alphabet in terms of financial adoptions, we do not know
Yeah.
how to reach out to these technologies. We do not know how to properly setting up a wallet. We do not know that. So you need to understand, okay, we want to reach out adoption. We need user-friendly solutions, user-friendly products. And that means also, be able to bring up some alliances. You need to bring around alliances with legacy industries, fintech ones, or even traditional banks as well. Um, and or even pension funds sometimes in certain jurisdictions, such as in Australia, the United States. Um, otherwise, you're doomed to be to fail. You're doomed to fail because you don't understand the whole market, and you were very fetishist about it. You were only for the sake of technology, and you thought that the whole population will have the same amount of knowledge and sophistication of yours, and perhaps they don't need that, because
Yeah.
you don't need to be a blockchain expert if you're not in the industry. You don't need to know every update of the industry if you're just using money to send abroad, to your family. If you wanted to send abroad money, if you wanted to
Yeah.
receive stable coins. So that part is the biggest gap, and that sometimes we as entrepreneurs, we commit those mistakes. And the last part is the fintech part. So these, you have like legacy banks or traditional banks that are slowly taking this entrepreneurial like approach. So they set it up like an internal, let's say, in-house development team, and also sometimes like business model team, and they say, okay, we need to launch a spin-off of, let's allow people purchase Bitcoin, Ethereum from our platform, you know
Yeah,
but we have to comply. That's even more challenging in terms of, okay, you are more traditional, you're strict, and you are abide by like the strictest regulations. You need to find a way to sort it out, and figure it out with the new trendings. How you gonna adapt, how you gonna transform the ultimate business. And the reason, or the speech by those models, or by those companies, the people behind these entrepreneur efforts, they do not need to say, okay, we're gonna overhaul the whole company, we're gonna transform this company, it don't look like the old days again. Because by doing so, people is gonna be afraid of you. People will be reluctant to accept that the changes. We need to
yeah,
understand generations. It's not the same that we're talking. I'm millennial practically. Maybe you are Gen Z or something like that, or millennial too. We understand these technologies. You know, not everybody older than us will, or
yeah,
does. So you also need to embrace that, embrace the difference, build bridges, build gaps, and show them the way to think forward, to push forward, but in a friendly way, in a daunting sometimes way, but needs to be friendly, and needs to be slowly and steadily, um like a that will become mainstream, the technology ultimately. So it's going to be very basic ones. So sometimes it's mere on and off run business, but sometimes it can be something like, okay, investing in Bitcoin ETFs, like Fidelity as is doing it, MoneyGram is doing it, like in terms of stable coins. Several other players, they're starting to, setting up their own like blockchain teams. um but yeah, those are like, sum it up, those would be the advices for these different types of either entrepreneurs.
okay, okay. So like to basically summarize, so like the first thing, like for any entrepreneur is to basically to understand the user base that he's having, like the type of user base, right? Like the type of demand and
Yeah,
user base. Yeah.
the type
So
of the
that like,
user base,
yeah,
the type of legal and business background that you're operating into it, and lastly, the generational gap that
generation gap.
you need to embrace, you need to
Okay,
address in an assertive way.
okay, okay. Yeah, that sounds to be like a great way and also like a great advice suggestion that you have given. Thanks for that. So I think like that's pretty much it. I think we have covered a lot. So thank you so much for giving your valuable time and giving a lot of valuable information. I really appreciate that, and it's really nice catching up with you.
So yeah, thank you. Let me commend you for the effort that you're doing. It's important
Thanks.
for the whole ecosystem to have people like you, in PR, to have people that make sure all different types of demographics reach out to this technology and understand how to start, digesting the whole transformation that it's ongoing. Some people are already on board, but many still needs to get that hop in the bandwagon. So I'm glad
Yeah,
to see you. It's been such a pleasure, man. Hope you everything turns out to be all right in New Delhi. And let me know when you're here in the States. I will welcome
sure.
you here.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much for the appreciation and your nice words. Really means a lot to me. Great. Okay, bye.
Likewise.
Have a good day.
Appreciate it, man. Highly appreciate it.
So I hope you guys have enjoyed the video and get to know about Felipe and his amazing work, and also his incredible views and insights on current market situation and the future predictions. So if you guys want to connect with him on LinkedIn, I'll be sharing his LinkedIn profile in the description down below. So you guys can follow him and definitely connect with him. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon in the next video.